Absolutely. Done. Thank you, Colin. Thank you all for coming out. There are a lot of things you can do on a Friday night, but you came out to listen to poetry and music. That's pretty cool. I'm going to sing you 3 songs to start off with before we get off to the poetry. These are all songs that I have written. My CDs, you don't have to pay $10 if you don't have $10. Yes, right, if you have 20, you can pay that too. She writes a poem a day, helps her chase the blues away, patches up her heart when the world falls apart, makes everything seem a little bit okay. She wraps the words in love, ties a bow around the feelings of a metaphorical illusion in a paradoxical conclusion. She writes a poem a day, and she dances to the rhythm of the pouring rain. She whispers to the moon and stars. She fiddles out a riddle in the middle of the night. She writes a poem a day. She meets the world halfway. That girl sure got a lot to say. She can't refuse when something strikes her muse. It's her own etymological sachet. And she might break your heart. She might test your soul. When her onomatopoeia shakes a sad sestina, she writes a poem a day. And she dances to the rhythm of the pouring rain, and she whispers to the moon and stars. She fiddles out a riddle in the middle of the night. She writes a poem a day. She says she doesn't know why a butterfly just made her cry. Maybe it's because the way that nature does, it puts a little love in every little thing now. She doesn't try to rhyme, but her rhythm always stays in time. And her Oedipus and elision may never cause collision. She writes a poem a day, and she dances to the rhythm of the pouring rain, and she whispers to the moon and stars. She fiddles out a riddle in the middle of the night. She writes a poem a day, yes she does. She writes a poem a day. It's a pretty good thing to do, I think. She writes a poem a day, I think you should too. She writes a poem a day. You know, in this crowd, I think most of you do. She writes a poem a day. Woo. Thank you very much. This song is off my second CD, and it's a song called Fools. It is somewhat autobiographical. Well, I had an uncle when I was a kid. Yeah, he looked like blonde Elvis, I swear that he did. Told Norwegian jokes that he learned in a bar. He had pretty girlfriends, he drove a shiny fast car. He went off to fight in the Vietnam War, and he brought back a fight that he fought a lot more. The pills and the booze, oh, he loved them like crazy, we loved them like fools. Oh, we loved them like crazy, we loved them like fools. Well, I was raised in the North Country way, in an opera fields, in a prairie ballet. My daddy's land measured 1 mile square, and we shared with the deer and the ducks living there. But the wind blows change and time marches fast. We sold that old farm for convenience and cash. Sometimes you don't get to choose. Oh, we loved it like crazy, we loved it like fools. Oh, we loved it like crazy, we loved it like fools. I know a boy born with dreams in his head. Now he sits in the darkness all alone in his bed. He can't hear the music, can't shake the rain. In arms length away from a cure for the pain. Little boy blue, won't you come out and play? There's a sun in the sky, it's a brand new day. Still you refuse. Oh, we love them like crazy, we love them like fools. Oh, we love them like crazy, we love them like fools. Well, my mother sat in her healing chair while I sang her some songs in the soft spring air. Pump full of poison, wool hat on her head, and in between songs we talked of what lie ahead. She smiled and listened to the meadowlark calls. She said, "Dawn, if you can you write me a waltz?" She was a hard one to lose. Oh, we loved her like crazy, we loved her like fools. Oh, we loved her like crazy, we loved her like fools. Oh, we love like crazy, we love like fools. Don't we now? Oh, we love like crazy, we love like fools. Let me sing you one more song. I haven't sang that. It's sort of a new song of mine. I haven't sang it out very much. But this was a beat poetry festival. And I was looking for a song of mine that had a little bit of edge to it. And I thought this is the one. I'm going to sing some other songs for you later on. A couple here and a couple there. I really look forward to hearing the poems today. This song is called Paul Bunyan. It's going to be on my next CD, which is coming out in a couple of months. Sort of a story poem that I wrote. There's a statue of Paul Bunyan in Bemidji, Minnesota. I can see it from the motor inn I'm in. Helen came from Huron through the bitter cold and the snow, trying to save me from the shape that I was in. I told her I was doing fine. She said, "Shut up, you're still the same." And the paint spilled down like the bottle she just poured down the drain. Well, I sobered up and we drove off on promises and gasoline and a little Benzedrine she didn't find. Helen told me to take a nap. She said, "I'll get us back to Huron." I said, "Honey, from here on, I'll be good. That she didn't laugh, not even close, though I thought she should. And for 90 miles of silence, I was Paul Bunyan made of wood. Helen slowed her Chevy down somewhere in Eagle Bend, in front of Christmas lights outside a redneck bar. She said, I'll always love you. She said, I'll always love you. She puffed a pound mile in the dark. Then she told me, get the hell out of her car. I threw everything I owned inside a Walgreens bag and left, while a trillion frozen stars shone on my speedy head. I hitched a ride north on a Kenworth, east of Fergus Falls. He was heading up to Red Lake, making time. He asked me what my name was, and I said, I think it's Paul. And he laughed and said, let's do another line. And the snow fell in Bemidji when I reached that motor inn. And Paul Bunyan had moved from the place I left him in. Thank you.
So that's out here. I'm going to say this right. I think I've mispronounced it at least 3 times.
You can say it any way you want.
I'm not going to say it right this time. I'm going to get it right. Down low. Dogs, clowns, and bells.
And bells, there you go.
You all dying to know. I can tell, like, how did you mispronounce that? Just by the sea. So, after some deliberation back there, I determined that we're going to go ahead and do 4 poems each, and we're going to see where that brings us at that point. Then, hopefully, there's room for more, and we'll just follow a succession down here. Then we'll hit open mic. Don's going to play again for you 2 other times, and we're all just tremendous. Yeah, for Don. Are we doing poem to start? To break the ice here. And now I wrote this poem for a friend, and he passed away, and of course I read it. It's like a knucklehead poem, because that's what I write. And then he passed away, and I was like, ugh. But I'm going to go ahead and read it anyway. I'm sure he'd still be irritated with it. The problem with aliens, leaving interstellar metallic debris all over our deserts, probing our rednecks' rectums, abducting our good old boys, out hunting, out fishing, out for a, 4 a.m. drive, snatching hysterical women, hybridizing half-breed alien spawn, staring at us with huge, black, lidless, unblinking eyes, disregarding our airspace, not showing up on radar while flashing bright lights in the dead night sky, hovering silently above us with no accountability, like so many politicians. We have just a historic level of talent here. Now we have national poet laureates from various states. We have, Krista could just stand up there. We have Krista, you could ask her from Greece, our first international poet laureate, the world's first International Laureate, period. We beat him to the punch on that. So I'll call you up another time, dear. But we're gonna go ahead and.
Yes.
And I know that means thank you. I love you.
Hello.
Of course I do.
I love you.
So enough of me. I'm gonna call up the town. I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman last night and hanging out with him. And Chris and I had a three-way going, no paper, just we got a round robin going. Come on, see that? Anyhow, Chris Vanoy is our poet laureate for California. He hails from San Diego and other parts. He's absolutely fantastic. Give him a big round of applause.
I was blessed by the beats in the holy temple of city lights, slammed by the word speakers in Seattle as star bars sparkled in my eyes, perused in the tent of hissing spoken word. I was saved in San Diego by the poet's tree. Sangria Lizzie dazzled me with hot Spanish licks on my cool blue skin. She left my heart beating like a flamenco dancer's shoes. Oracle Mark waits at the intersection of Park and Washington, with the angst of Market Street still on his southern comfort lips, hovering over me, smelling of a bad woman in a deep blues dress. Are you a poet, man? He kept saying. Are you a poet? Man, I feel deliverance moving in, sprouting hairs from my chin. My hands stroke bongos, my hip beat got the beat. Down the sidewalks past Kerouac's alley. He was out with Sally, drinking again, thinking about going to Mexico. Alan was howling in the fog that blanketed North Beach. Bukowski slumming in a hotel of lost souls, saying that poetry just saved his ass. Ferlinghetti lives in city lights, spends nights painting pictures by the window. Beat, 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 my feet hit the street and I was out there. Way out there, man, sober plane, give me wings. My bag full of word things, spilling from a shuttle that droned me home. Dangerous Dan, the word man, he met me at the gate, said I'd be late for a reading, needing readers. Exceedingly tired, I pulled my felt hat down. The poet man was back in town. I wanted Bukowski's woman. She was long and lean and always dressed in black. Her breath smelled of stale beer, of cinnamon, and of the cloves that she chewed on like candy. She opened my heart with a surgeon's skill, with words and smells and fears. And with the tears she cried in the night in the darkened alleyway behind the hotel where she lived with him. I could hear them fighting. It made me want her even more. It made me want to drag her through my door, but she was Bukowski's woman. So I just sat in the bar across the street, cracking peanuts, throwing the shells on the floor. I wanted Bukowski's woman. She was long and lean and always dressed in black. Now my academic poem. The one I've dedicated to Neruda goes, fires of birds swim from the dust of his feet, and he tells me the journey's just begun. His socks lie warm near my bed, next to locomotives of steaming villages in a pot of stones and blue sky. A stream of feathers and clocks ask me where he has gone. I tell them he is sleeping in libraries between oranges and melons. I tell them tomorrow he will walk in a countryside of mirrors and dreams. When you find him, your mouth will be filled with canaries, a dance of bones of a whistle when he is near. Take you down to the streets now. This one's called Life's Not Easy in the Streets. I see him every day, pushing shopping carts that clink clank over cracks in the sidewalk. City stalkers, nomads of the 21st century. There's one Tooth Sue. She talks to herself. Remembers when she was prom queen. See there, how she turns away from her reflection in that plate glass window? She's wondering who the old wrinkled woman is. Did you hear her? Not me, not me, not me. There's Martin Sharp flipping cards on the pavement. Come on, bro, just watch these cars slipping and sliding. I know that you went this time. 2 down, 1 up. Which one? Which one? Only one, bud. Later, dude, I'm showing this guy around town. Bald Betty over there. She wraps remnants of old blankets around her head. Sings old church hymns, too, but you can remember the words. Cancer treatment took what little savings she had left after the house was sold. And there's Three-Finger Joe tipping that bottle of Ripple skyward. He squeezes his eyes shut against the sun. He's breathing lightly today. He's trying to hide the pain of 2 busted ribs. Damn punks, they would have messed with me 10 years ago. I kicked both their asses good. See those 2 missing fingers on his right hand? That's what ended his boxing career. It broke his spirit. He spit out in these streets of piss and booze. And there's Wanda waiting over by the shelter door with her 2 dirty-faced kids. She's trying to hide her fear and humiliation and the swelling on the side of her face, swearing silently to herself, this is going to be the last time he's ever going to get hurt. For the 2nd time this month. She won't press charges. What can the cops do? I see them all the time, every day, and I know most of them, all the regulars anyway. They're just ordinary people just trying to get by on what's they got, scraping like the rest of us. Only most of them have to scrape a little harder, dig a little deeper down their soul just to survive these days. Life's not easy here on the streets. Hell, life ain't easy anywhere nowadays. Oh, with someone waiting in an alley or around the corner where the street lamps don't shine, waiting just to bash your head in with a lead pipe. And for what? For what? These people ain't got nothing, man, but the clothes on their backs. But he says, he can see their spirits go. He always howls, just like an old hound dog. Oh! Heard him howling a while ago. Over that way. Means you've seen someone dead. Be sure when old buddy howls that someone's done gone to meet his maker. Well, it's about time to get in line for the mission. It's good food. Once you get past the preaching, you want to come? All right. Now maybe I'll see you around. Tell you some more stories about people who live down here on the streets. Where only pennies shine in the hot sun.
That's how you get there. Words like that. So the next poet was absolutely instrumental in the 2nd evolution of the festival. This festival's had many evolutions, but in back in 2000, I'd say 15, 16, George Wallace, your 2nd poet, our first national poet laureate, beat poet. They're all beat poet laureates. If I slip up, forgive me. National beat poet laureate. He is the former poet laureate for Long Island. It's a living legend. I mean, it's just that simple. But George, I owe you a tremendous debt for the work you did with me back in that 2nd evolution when the world just came, just like that. And so, I guess with that, buy his book. Please buy everybody's book. Buy his book. Support the local arts. And give a big round of applause to the man himself, the star of the show. Well, you're all stars. Dory's star, national and international, but I say star to me because of what he did for me. Thank you, George.
One thing legend about me is this jacket. I did a great job. And who would think I would come to Torrington, Connecticut? You brought me to some amazing places. You know, it was wall-to-wall cars from the White Stone Bridge to Danbury. And finally, I got off the highway and I improvised. I ended up in someplace really western, western Connecticut, beautiful lakes and such, and came overland over roads that had no names and almost went to dirt. So finally came out just a little bit south of Litchfield, and I stopped for a kielbasa in Gooseboro. Gooseboro's got a 50-plus-year-old little shack there. I actually had to pay, but there was no place to pay. So I bought a kielbasa. Sat out at the on the benches, walked up to the woods, and peed anyway. So came here all right, and just kind of still got my driving legs on. But I got 4 poems for you, and read them to you, and then look forward to hearing everybody else. Chris Vanoy, how do you pronounce it? What's the last name? Yeah, San Diego. Talk to you afterwards. 100 Years Among the Daisies. I've written this poem because on the way up I got an email from the people in Beacon, New York. They've chosen this poem for the next collection, way more. 100 Years Among the Daisies. I am a simple man, an alley cat. I do not travel far or well. I do not believe in miracles. I was born in this place. I do not test well for generosity or your ordinary measures of success. Push me, I will push you back. Lead me to my jukebox and my beer, and we will get along just fine. Yes, I was born here, a harbor town. We call it fish heads and valentines. I'm as simple as rope, a bait and tackle kind of a guy. My hull chafes the docks at dawn. My engine churns oily waters. At night when I dream, a gull flies among eagles. And if it rains, so what? So what? I soak rain up like pickle brine. I drink it down. I call it champagne. Do wharf rats run with their own well? So do I. Are you so very different with your earrings and your college degrees? When midnight comes, who owns the stars? The wind blows equally on all of us, all men, all women, and the waves belong to the one who will sail out into them. And I know I lack humor, but I also know what I lack. The shape of my face in the mirror is my own face. I know what's what at closing time. Show me the exit sign, I'll be on my way. Show me a good time, and it's go cat go, because time is bodies in motion, and I am a patient man and a man of action. Throw me like a brick over a garden wall, and I will lay there among the daisies 100 years if necessary, 100 years if necessary. But I will find my mate. Just got back in California. I was in San Francisco hanging out drinking with Jessica Lewis and Danny Shaw from New York City and the Trieste. And Diana DePrimo was supposed to come down originally, Brooklyn gal. She's been out there for many, many years and wrote the Revolutionary Letters, a book called Revolutionary Letters back in the 60s, which if you haven't read it, it's about time. You do, because it's a time we all pay attention to what she said back in the 60s about revolution. This poem's called I Am Sorry, Diane DePrima. I am sorry, Diane DePrima, there was no revolution. We cleaned things up just about enough to carry on. We forgot your necessary guns and Buddha. We forgot the revolution of the body and heart was no match for clean sheets and prosperity. We brought down the man and filled the lakes back up with rainbow trout. We unpolluted the sky. We closed the factories. We gentrified the Lower East Side. Hell, I think it was a Rockefeller who uncovered the Sawmill River. We filled our gas tanks and our bank accounts, and we ran off to Cancun. Into the mouths of our children we poured laughter, fireworks, poetry, college degrees. We forgot about filling our bathtubs up with your grandpa's Marxism and coal. The life-preserving waters of Saco and Vanzetti went down the drain. They escaped us. We put aside your revolutionary letters, Diane. We let our cup runneth over with patriotism and football and craft beer. Yeah, we let the old sins back in. Success for the many. Fuck all for the few. Till the few became the many. And now it's fuck all for everyone except the fat cats and their plastic wives and their golf carts, their country clubs, their private towers, and all the cleanup that we done's about to get undone. Reach for the sky, the privileged few are on high, protected by their trolls and their goons. And the rest of us hanging around the streets to foul and to fuel. It's 10 p.m., 3 drunks across a church street, New York City. They pull on a young girl's hijab, they shout, Trump, 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 and the blood in their eyes, or in the eyes of the people, and the anger in their mouths is for each other, not for the oppressors. That's just the way they like it. That's just the way they like it. And where is the precious seed of your revolution now, Diane DePrima, when we really need it? Check out the art later. Is the art gallery over here?
What's that?
Is the art gallery over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. I like this basketball game here. This is, it's a hard time for us all, but there's cycles. I've lived long enough to find that out. How it will end, city by city, block by block, in seed and in blood, the symphony of eyes, the christening of stars, village to village, hand to hand. You who have taken over, you who control too much, you who have held us down too long, we will speak out against you, classroom by classroom, hall by hall, gallery by gallery. No death threat can contain us, no kidnapping silence this song we sing. Kitchen by kitchen, room by room, this contagion of people, this bird which wants to escape, which must escape. No cage of gold can hold our discontent. No bullet hole of mass distraction. Jail by jail, judge by judge, newspaper by newspaper, we will gather up and we will overthrow you. No government propaganda machine can shut this down. No fear brigade, no killing crew, no lie of lust or vanity, and no, not flattery. Nothing can stop us from gathering. Revolution is a small boy reading Walt Whitman on a long wooden table. Revolution is a small girl carrying the book of the world in secret hands. Revolution is a young woman and a young man making love against your terrible red glare. And a breeze blows freely through an open door. And buttercups flow freely through cracked cement. And we are those flowers, and we are that breeze, and we shall not bear your oppression long, the people. We shall wake to our duties soon, the people. Free to stand against you, free to expose you, snitches, bullies, cowards, thugs. We'll laugh aloud, and we shout, and we will die. We shall big 10,000 holes in your useless armor, tank and troop commander, dictator and henchman, informer and border patrol, and we shall live again free. We shall live again free in the precious light of the people's sun, which shines through. Thank you very much.
Problem here. Because as each one of you get up here, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get back and write something. Please stop. One minute. So, all right, your next poet, we're all family here. Go to Bridgeport, you check out Poets Realm every Wednesday. Find them on Facebook, Poets Realm with a Z. They got a lot of love in that room, and we are trying to get that ourselves, so it's great. So your next poet, our poet, family. Well, I asked him where he wants to be known from. This is an interesting, quick little story. And because he moves around, he likes the West Coast, but he was, at the time, living physically in West Virginia, so I didn't know where he was now, so I contacted him prior to the event, and I asked him, where are you? And not prepared for this kind of answer, he said, in the way that only poets can, tell them I'm from the internet. So, from the internet is our new National Beat Poet Laureate. So I'm going to need our former, and also George, why don't you come up to do a photo op here. We're going to present him with his plaque. We are having an awards ceremony tomorrow, so you poets that are laureates, don't think that you're not getting these kind of honors. We're just breaking it up over the course of the event. So, come on up, guys. Laurie DeRogers was last year's National Beat Poet Laureate. George was our first, and we're so honored to give the new one to William Duvall.
But before we do, I have a little surprise myself.
Oh no. You didn't have
I'm slow, you know that.
But worth the
It's
wait.
part of your charm. Don't say slow, say deliberate.
This is a long time coming. I want to present to Colin Haskins an award for his 22 years of giving just about everyone their start in poetry, music, giving them the opportunity, and art. Colin?
Yeah.
Not about me. Why did you do that?
Because.
And everyone knows Debbie does the hard work. How about a round of applause? Thank you, everyone. That's awesome.
That's okay, it's close enough.
Glasses work if they're on. So it's been an amazing year, and we've had a beautiful, gorgeous festival and many, many events. Thank you with all my heart and all of our hearts to Colin and to Debbie and to Amy and to everybody who's worked so hard, and George, and all of us have put events together as well over the last few years for the festival, and in different places in various states, and I'm really psyched to see people here from all over the country to do this. It's just, and all over the world, and Chris is here. It's just wonderful. I can't wait to talk to you. I know, you should come too. Anyway, I wanted to, I'll just read this and passing my laureateship on. However, as my friend Fran has pointed out, I will always be Laurie at wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
So I present to William F. Duvall, or Duvall, if you're French. Well, I'm DeRogers or DeRosier, you see if you're
I
French.
like it better the second one.
Yeah, me too. A little bit.
Get closer.
Okay, so yeah, we will do that. Anyway, the honor of the National Beat Poet Laureate for 2017-2018. Congratulations.
However, they got the wrong date on it, so I don't officially get it until tomorrow. So,
There you go. All right.
thank you so very much. Anybody who knows me knows I hate microphones, mostly because I can't keep my head still long enough to keep it in one place. So it's like, hi, and it's really good to see you tonight. So, George, you have done a fantastic job. This would not exist without you.
Take a good photo now.
So I'm not sure who this is. And of course, Colin, I mean, just a great group of people. I like hanging out with this group of people. They make me feel good.
We're family. Everybody here is.
And professionals.
Yeah.
I think I am, actually.
Okay, now you get to read.
Which is a surprise to me. I read the poster, and the poster didn't show my name for tonight. So I was like, oh, good, I don't have to prepare anything. I'll just come and sit and watch and listen. This will be, what? I'm number 3. Oh, that's fine. So I brought no books, no magazines, nothing, but I'll read them. Because I've learned a few, and there's this wonderful tool in the age of the internet. People ask me how I came to call myself the romantic poet of the internet. Very simple story. 21 years ago, I did a website of my poetry, and Yahoo, at the time, which was an internet index, reviewed it and called me the romantic poet of the internet. So I slapped a TM on the end of it, and that's the end of the story. Never waste a good sobriquet, or so I've been told. The BAT book, which is due to be here tomorrow, I think, we'll all have some stuff, a lot of us will have some stuff in it. And one person I would like to thank, who hasn't already been mentioned tonight, who will be reading a little later, although I don't think he knew it, is Dan McTaggart. He's the West Virginia State Poet Laureate. I met him 15 years ago when I was on tour, and we've read together and worked together, even did a book together. And I hope you treat him as warmly as you treated me. But the BAT book should be here tomorrow, and I was hoping by the time I had to read, the book would be here and I could just go to my pages and say, hey, here's my poems in the book. But no such luck. But I have a new book that just came out this week called Bragi. Bragi was the Norse god of eloquence and poetry. And if you get into reading the background stuff on the guy, he was a really messed up dude. But that's what happens to poets. But the book was about the poetic politics of identity. How poets often shift who and what they are and where they're coming from. And the poems all take on different flavors. And no offense to West Virginia, Dan, but West Virginia has an interesting folk hero named John Henry. And John Henry, in my estimation, is an idiot. And this poem will explain why. It's called Pig Iron and the Myth of Idolatry. John Henry was a fool. A slave who gave his life for the notion that you are only a man if you die trying to keep up with the quotas and expectations of the management class. Holding you down, bleeding you dry until your heart bursts. The hole still gets dug. The steel is still driven. The Mark II machine is brought on. Songs will be sung to your widow and orphans. Maybe they'll make a monument to your misplaced heroism. Dying for another man's cause is not the same as living. If you don't know the story of John Henry, he took up the challenge to go up against a steel driving machine, digging tunnels in the mountains, and he beat it by inches. But his heart burst that night. He died. So the next day they just brought on the Mark II machine. So what did he accomplish? Except to prove he could work himself to death for someone else's quotas. And that's not what we should be about. I wrote a piece a long time ago. And for those of you who aren't a big fan of structuralism, put up with it for a minute. It's called Goblins in My Attic. And it's about why I write. In the depths of my depression, I find my self-expression increases geometrically to help me on my way. This creation is not static, as the goblins in my attic tear down the walls to find the light of day. In the end, we're all just creating to be heard and to release what's trapped within us. I think I'll save the rest of the stuff for tomorrow. Anybody here who's not going to be here tomorrow? At least one for, oh no, see, now I've got to feed you, man. It's like the old story about the young minister gets his first posting, goes out Sunday morning. There's one person in the congregation. And he goes, what do you think I should do? And the guy says, well, I don't know about you, but if I went to feed the cattle and only one showed up, I'd still feed him. So he gave this full sermon. So I guess I got to do one or two more poems. One or two. Let's keep this simple. I'm not going to go digging around through files for stuff. Long time ago, if you've read any of my stuff, you know I'm flush with romanticism. And a long time ago, I wrote a poem called Unicorns. And as much as I hate to admit it, it's the most reprinted thing I've ever wrote. So I'm kind of stuck with it. You know, it's like Paul McCartney keeps being asked, play Yesterday, dude. He's like, oh, man, I'm waiting on $4 billion. Please come alive. Remain and play. The unicorns won't come today. The fairies and their rigid kin will stay away to paint my sin with ancient red and angry fire. Please come to me and linger, please. I do not mock, I dare not tease. Just bring with you an honest smile and share with me, for all the while, a love of life and true desire. The unicorns no longer guard my meadow just beyond the yard. They snort with shame and true disdain upon a hope of age's pain, and brand me by their pride a liar. That's going to be it for me for tonight. 2 years ago when I did this festival, I think it was 12 different venues for this festival. I mean, I was all over the country, from New Orleans to Fredonia, New York. This year I want to do more. So if you've got a venue or a festival or somebody you know somewhere in the US and maybe even some overseas stuff, I want to do as many venues as possible. Don't hesitate to get in touch with me. If you can't figure out how to find me, these guys know where to find me always. Debbie in particular always knows where to find me. I get texts from her at 2 in the morning. So, I'd really love to do some more. And tomorrow I'll have some more of the recent stuff. I'll be more prepared, I promise. Thank you all very much. This is a great organization. This is a great festival. And let's just make it better and better every year. Straight.
Take myself serious now. So, I have a story for you. The Litchfield magazine, I'm very honored, did a story on me.
Get on the mic.
If you've seen this story, yeah, I gotta tell the story. Look at me laugh. How do you know it's funny?
Colin, use the mic because of the sound.
So the Litchfield magazine did an article on me, and I was tremendously honored. It's a swanky magazine, big houses, glossy paper, full color everything on every page. Really nice big deal. So of course, I agreed to tell them I was very honored. They wanted to, I wanted to make it about the festival. They wanted it to be about me. So, I consented. They wanted photographs. My business partner Debbie kindly forwarded some photographs, and of course, editors being editors and people in charge being what they are, they wanted their own photographer. So they had their photographer is going to do the interview, so that worked out great. So we're back there doing, he's telling me how to, I normally do a frame like this and one like that. And the one that I really like is if we can have nature, of course. My house is all woods all the way around, so there's a lot of greenery back there. And he sets me up against the trees and the leaves. And of course, I wear camo head to toe most times. I'm trying colors today. Coming back to pick up Krissa from New York City in the airport, and I get a text saying that they need to redo the shoot. The editor thought there was just too much camouflage. Would I be agreeable to doing this? They really want to do the story, so I guess I'm definitely wearing too much camo these days. I'll end up writing about that. We'll just move along. But I thank you for it. And Shaw did the recent article, Shaw Isaacson, from the now retired Winstead Journal. I've been very with his articles, and the new one out in the Compass was fantastic. It's in my hallway right now. So we're going to move along, and I'm honored again. Now, you poet laureates, keep in mind, I know how poets are, let's keep in mind that the big award ceremony is tomorrow. So if you're not getting yours today, that's because we want to make a big deal of it tomorrow. So with that, I'm tremendously honored. This guy, from the beginning of the festival, we'll call it the second incarnation, Carlo Parcelli was active in it, enthusiastic, very helpful, and is a tremendous performer. And I told him at the beginning, I'm going to reward him for that someday. And I wasn't able to make him the National Beat Poet Laureate, but I'm so proud to have the Poet Laureate of the state of Maryland, and including Washington, D.C., Carlo Parcelli. We're in for a treat.
I want to thank Debbie and Colin for this opportunity, because I'm not rendered too many opportunities, and after I perform you may understand why. This afternoon I was sitting out on the Farmington River looking out on the mallards and the fly fishermen, and I thought, what is beat about this character I wrote, Canis Ictus, in this epic poem, Canis Ictus and Exilium, or Dog Bite in Exile. He's a fictitious Roman 1st century cynic philosopher. But he's cast out, he's exiled by the wealthy people of Rome, Licinius and Augustus, and he's exiled to an island, a desert island, for threatening the public order. Oh, what could be more beat than that, right? Threatening them. It's like Diogenes of Sinope, the great Greek cynic philosopher. Diogenes' nickname was the dog. So this is Dog Bite in Exile. And the full poem is 200 pages, and I'm only going to do 20 lines. So mercifully, to the flavor of it. The other caveat I want to mention is, when I read, I lapse into an East End Cockney for some reason. So here we go, just 20 lines of Canis, and I'll move on. So sure I get spleen and rash prate the stage. What be I, Varus, with a capog's head? Arrogant simpleton, what neck wrong be at Teutoburg, and our sons dead among the fens and swamps? What be I to gnash and rail in such folly? What on earth be meaning, pan me before their jingoes? What be owned by circuses, bags, and bread? This be me quarantine and me exile, me faith like the Vestales, be unbreached even as the terror, and their mocked and mocking gods be in no relief. For mock what God does not honor sacrifice, and sacrifice be not belief as it be mocked. What those with eyes call fickle to fancy, what to place fate upon a pyre, and to look day to day as a torch, what be a premise of false desire. And dangers, what by the number odds prove misery cannot be prayed away. This be as a clear pool to me, and clean to drink, and what be beggars blunder, and foul and noxious stink, and cast me out upon this note of dirt where I'll be saved, or what forebodes Rome a tidal wave, what sweeps all aside, and the 7 hills be but watery keeps, or some Hebrew flood of a pure God, Rome's crimes doth aggrieve. So there's obviously... And prior to the epic, I wrote a series of 88 monologues, specifically designed to offend Christians. And it was a rewrite of the New Testament from the point of view of Simon Cananaeus, who was one of the apostles. And he was the only apostle who openly avowed warfare against the Romans. Go get them, motherfuckers. But this first monologue, it deals with a number of characters around Holy Week and Passover. And this character first is Lazarus. And we all know the story of Lazarus, right? He's a fall-down drunk. And he struck an agreement with Jesus and the disciples to pay off his bar tab. And in exchange, he would lay in the grave for 2 days. But that motherfucker, Jesus, didn't come back until 4 days. And he was hanging out with Lazarus' wife, Martha. God knows what they were doing because he was their nephew, right? So this is Lazarus. I haven't done it in a while because I don't get too many venues. But I'm gonna try to do it off the top of my head, because it works much better that way. Again, 3 things. Kittim, that means the Romans. It's a slur of the Romans. Tibi is Tiberius, and once again the East London Bowbells slang. Okay. Went for 10 quid out, 2 extra days, sealed to dark tear and desperate and tossing. And me sister has that bloody little sadist quicker to the light after his conversion to the world plan. That's where's me 12 quid. When all says 10, he says 2 tugs for Wednesday and Thursday, and has missed the appointment. That's the kind of mate he was. A joke would leave me in a black hole. Sorry goes to Judas Maccabee, didn't I now? And me all out to help me sisters, especially Miriam, what needs a new caravan? Her shiftless son crying in poverty, yet spilling state perfume out and coming out. So I tells her the boy ain't raised right, what with a Roman track in her trench, and he don't talk to me my likes that, you fucking lushy. And I, son, he's about to come to blows, I ain't no spiel looking scabby, what can be chased about by your falling tail? So the boys in the pub asked me, Mr. Resurrect, where the fuck is he? And what's probably ain't likely to get me stood around. So I say, Daddy made a proper little prick and tried to juke a thimble about the other brush. What me fucking nephew's supposed to have done. Too late for him to bait me into another hole. So my plan is to follow the legend until I'm in the cups until the second coming. Me, what don't shit for blood with drinks, but pissed raw about me legs, while our little Ginger's eating rations and hugging his own mother, who certain as Abraham don't want no kin, lush on no to suffocate. Of course, Joe went to daddy, me sis having a taste for cock waddle. So many of you to the knife nowadays, if you's asking. No. Jesus beside Abdi's cause, first Sagittarium. And the same will kill the Laureate and Sinai, but not as brothers and sisters, but twin deity. And that be the street what man he struck. Bitter of his blood call. Trained with Essenes and Sakara, at Qumran and Palmyra, flirted with arms, but for the odds, and styled his angle what's too humbly mumbly to keep face to finish. So fuck me nephew. Start with his maw, and passion with temperance cannot slake, as us sainted temperate slake passion with booze. One more, but there's a funny story I told Chris this afternoon that goes along with this. I performed this. There's a Busboys and Poets down in Washington. Big deal. You get like, if you go to like the Thursday night hip hop, where it's mostly young African Americans, there's 150 people, $5 a ticket. Bam, bam, bam. It's very lively. I'm the oldest guy there, generally the only white guy. So I do this deal, right? I do the Lazarus monologue. And I really pull it off a lot much better than tonight. And I just taken some lessons from a Shakespearean actor. And I'm looking at the audience, it's like really hostile. They hate me. They hate me. I'm looking down, 100 faces in front, grim. Well, it turned out that Love the Poet, Michel de Fonzal, who's a Punani poet, which is like, they're sex-oriented poets. Her father's there. He's a jazz guitarist. But he's also a deacon in his Baptist church in Baltimore. And he brought his congregation. So I did that. And it was like the first thing done at this fucking Busboys and Poets. It was a riot. Got it off to a big start. Oh shit. One more monologue and I'll get down. This is what I didn't do for like the first year or so. I didn't think it was that good. But it's James Zebedee. It's the older Zebedee boy, the two Bonairs. It's a funny story goes along with this, and I'll keep it brief though. There's a place also in Columbia Heights in Washington, and they wouldn't let me perform there because they don't allow profanity. And every time you use a profane word, you have to put $1 in the jar. So it had 5 profanities, so I said, look, if I give you $5, can I go up and do the piece, in advance, pay to play. No, it doesn't work that way. So I worked on it because there's an actor who also does pieces there that I was interested in getting these to perform these for me, because I'm not really a professional performer, and he is. But anyway, this is James Zebedee. Once again, Kitim is a slur for Romans. Tibby is short for Tiberius. Okay. 12 lictors, what me brother and me be two. The bonus, sons of thunder, sons of rage. God's spectral outburst is what all took it. Bastardi Diascori. Sons of blunder, flee, crucified, and the sea of Tiberius still laughs at me feet where once the Kinneret. Queer fellow already, what say earthly kings tax the strangers. What was me Abba's and me Abba's Abba? Estranged, dismounted on a king actuary eye from a sea Tilly ain't never seen, and thunder he ain't never heard. Mackerel burst the net with tribute, and the daisy biddy Nazarene leaves me but bombast and stir the pride port imperium, like the cloudburst so named, what stone of course. Rage? With what? Bare knuckles in the Colosseum, daggers in the marketplace, or more speeches and stunts? Another citizen of Golgotha, tricked-egged in the disarray of Cosmopolis. He weren't no great shakes out of Pilatus neither, caught off guard as he was in the garden, and shivering, stammering, state what Romans brought hundreds of kinsmen to a fortnight, and now it's on me, what sold me haste, made Tibbies and the thunders Joves, by the Antipas and me traders, land bounty on the salt ships and towns that kick legions. Now it's on me, what's on Simon and Cananeus and the Gamalas, slit the throats of the Vigilia and carry the Rebbe and the lot off to the Negev for concealment. Me to unruffle the scene, brush away the splashes of kid blood, dance about drawn near, weep and squeeze at the bar, consigning the missus, not near and confederate from stooling out this wellspring of frauds. Rouses me only next motivation. And now it's on me to compound a falsehood against an empowered, fears not the truth arms, much less the clotted meal in me Rebbe's words. It's on me to break leg and inchoate. It's either wait the gallows or chew it down with me teeth. And in this, there are multitudes insensate. And if he's resurrected, where be he risen as crooked as heaven, and the lightning from the east in his thunder. The destruction of the temple, not stone left on stone, rather conflict we can't deliver, and glory we cannot earn. And as I turned upon his breast to kiss, the Rebbe said, thunders the turn for terror, and the sparkness deluded beyond me enough. The meek will stand up a bear in the pen of its meat. Where there's impotence, there's rage, and both to follow. Curesti, pesti, guerra, terremoti, ecclesi, apocrypho. At the root be tribute what goal. So take the battle to the kit tax, as it be the wolf's plenary. Render nothing to Caesar, what does not keep us whole. Out Judea eorum more to oblige. Ghosts and levies, as both Matthias and Magna Publicani try the same denarii, the same righteous, disfigured and contorted as what eternal flames leap upon. All may be thunder, but from ignoble attacks, Matthias' attendance to finance, that scourge to be sure, and such foothold needs both myth and spectacle beyond our footsore frauds. The kits be common with us without tribute. Apocalyptic twaddle and bloody messiahs are at behest of tax. A levy on bloodshed in the treasury spigot. Render Caesars as a chargeback from the Creator. A vig what the temple cannot shark or bandit shank. Suet wrapped delivering kidneys, where just already poised with his bits and pranks, supposed to put his wick in the tallow for all mankind. But what fuse be lit by his red sheep? For here I remain, bloody thunder, with that